Good morning, you guys. It's October 7th, Sunday, and it is almost noon. I'm here with your daily wisdom shot for today. Some crazy cards came out. I started shuffling, and three that jumped out that I was compelled to keep were the Eight of Wands, the Chariot, and the Tower all together, which to me look like a major timeline jump forward through a really important healing period or event, or some kind of disruption of the status quo. The Tower looks terrible. I find that it's not really usually some kind of disaster. Despite the fact that I did pull the Tower literally the night before 9/11. I'm just going to put that out there. But I have far more frequently pulled the Tower for things such as intense healing situations, intense healing moments where you have that breakthrough. So breakthroughs is really what the Tower usually represents in my readings. So that means to me that we have some swift motion forward to a destined breakthrough, something that we cannot avoid, and we've been working toward, whether consciously or subconsciously, and this is really very important for our development and our path forward. So it's hard not to compare it to the quote event that everyone is talking about. I don't know if that's what this is about. I don't like to make assumptions like that and jump on the bandwagon, but I'm just putting that out there. Sorry, needed a drink again. I pulled clarifiers for each of those three. Well, first let me address the fact that the bottom of the deck was the Nine of Cups. So it's almost like this is what we've been waiting for. This is like what we've been wishing for, this sort of true jump forward into the higher dimensions, into our higher vibration, in aligning with what are our actual dreams and goals and ambition. Well, ambition is a low vibratory word, but what our actual desires are. Well, desire is low vibrating also. What I'm trying to get across is that our hearts really desire this movement forward and this anchoring in the higher dimensions where everything is love and bliss. So it's the movement forward toward that bliss is what I'm looking at here, is what I'm projecting. Of course, there needs to be a breakdown of our 3D world, society, structures, our perception of those structures, etc., in order to get there. So that's sort of what I'm feeling for the Tower here. Whatever event might bring that around, whether it be some kind of cosmic event, or it could just be a dramatic shift in your perspective based upon personal healing or a realization. I just drew my own cards for today, and it was all like listing the various things that I'm struggling with, and then the Death card, and then the Queen of Swords. And for me, that was all about, here's all the crap that you want to cut out of your life. Transition today. Make it happen today. You know what I mean? So that's like the kind of transition I'm talking about when we see the Tower. It's very important, and it's very drastic, and it's like total and complete healing. It's the kind of healing I've experienced only through Theta healing, honestly, or through my own modality working with the 18th dimension. So it's that sort of complete timeline hop, like no holds barred, you're in one place and then you're in another. And that's kind of what we have coming for us if we're holding that vibration. If you're resonating with these readings and you're holding that kind of vibration where you can receive instantaneous healing and instantaneous timeline hopping, then that's what I'm seeing. So back to the clarifiers. I pulled clarifiers for each one of those cards, and 2 came out for the 8 of Wands, and that was the King of Wands and Justice. And to me, this swift movement forward is based upon all the work we've done. It's like literally it's sitting on top of these 2 cards. Literally, the work we've done in the last few weeks has provided the foundation for this movement forward. And that foundation is about self-empowerment, and it's about balancing the scales, whether it be karmically or between the masculine, feminine, the light and the dark, integrating the shadow, all the inner balancing that we've been doing. So it's empowerment and balancing, or empowerment through balancing, which has made it possible to make this swift timeline hop into the higher dimensions. And this is the kind of thing that sounds insane, but I tell you, I have literally done this so many times in my life. Like, if I get screwed over in 100 different ways, this is one way where I have been seriously blessed, is being able to do this. So you can too, if I can, believe me. So all that work has gone into this. Next, the Chariot is clarified by the 9 of Wands and the 6 of Swords. So here we have 2 more cards of moving forward, both the Chariot and the 6 of Swords. Also cards of determination in this row with the Chariot and the 9 of Wands. So it's like my clarifiers just repeated the combined energies of the Chariot, right? So the 9 of Wands to me also represents like spiritual strength, and of course being at the end of that wand cycle. Like there's, we're almost at the end of the wand cycle. So to me it is continuing forward with the spiritual strength out of the darkness into the light, and accepting the healing that we have been we've been working on manifesting, and determined to our determination to move forward through this lower vibrational energy to reach the higher vibrational energy, to cross the rainbow bridge into the 5D. And that's where we're headed. I feel like a lot of us, myself included, are no longer even lurking around the 4D. We're spending more time in the higher dimensions. For me, part of that's obviously my healing work. That's where all that comes from. So I have to be there in order to channel that energy. But even the rest of us are learning how to get out of that, not only 3D, but even the 4D, because in the 4D, in the lower realms of the 4D, is where all those like entities that are sometimes parasitic are lurking around. And I know that they are doing this, not to scare anybody, but I have had so many clients in the last couple of weeks come to me who had some kind of attachment that had to be removed. With the energy that I'm working with, it's extremely easy to remove dark attachments, believe me. So it's not something to scare yourself with. It can always be addressed, but we're even moving out of the areas where we're confronting those kinds of dark energies, because they don't want to be around you when you're vibrating in the 5th dimension or the 6th or 7th or higher. They don't want anything to do with that. So if you are being attacked in that way, all you need to do is raise your vibration. They want nothing to do with you. And I can tell you from personal experience, because I have seen and dealt with and removed the darkest of the dark. And there is no, unless I have some real like gift that no one else has, which I truly do not believe, then that is literally all you have to do. So I just don't want to see, there's a lot of fear going around right now, and I want to see you guys pull yourself out of that, because it's not necessary. If you're not vibrating there, you're not going to get attacked. Okay. At least not long term. That doesn't mean nothing can ever happen. There are infinite possibilities, but you know, not long term. And you're probably only getting those attacks if there's either an experience to be had there, karma to be released, or you are spending some portion of your day down in that lower vibration. Okay, so I'll leave that go now, just so I don't offend anyone, but I just want you guys to be aware that it is within your power to pull yourself out of that. And I completely derailed myself while talking about the Chariot, Nine of Wands, and the Six of Swords. And this is us moving forward out of those lower dimensions, okay? And I wanted to avoid looking at the Tower here and just saying like, and it's going to happen because there's going to be a huge event, because that's what everyone expects to hear. But I can't deny that it really looks like there's some kind of big thing coming up, and the moon is falling underneath it. So to me, that tells me two things. Number one, to pay attention to the moon cycles and the next new moon or full moon or both. Okay. And the other thing it tells me is that nobody really knows, that it is hidden from us. And there's probably a good reason for that. It's probably has to do with us confronting the idea that we need to start to trust in the divine and trust the light forces that be to be leading us through on our path and developing this trust in our higher self and in the divine. Okay. It also tells me that there can be an element of ego in our constant need to predict the future, understand it, and be prepared for it. So while I am absolutely not trying to insult anyone, believe me, I'm sitting here reading these cards too, but we need to be aware of our egos as we move forward, and know and just remember that we don't know. I mean, our timelines can shift at any time based upon our frequency, and our frequency goes up and down depending on how much of our ego mind we're getting stuck in, and many other, obviously other factors as well. But I just want to caution everybody against like getting too attached to any individual outcome or any individual prediction or any individual hope, right? Because we need to bob and weave with all of this. I mean, it's all energy. It's all changing all the time, depending on your vibration and where you're resonating and which timeline you're in. And you're moving many times during the day, every minute, every moment even. So, so do remember that, but do also be, vigilant and be aware of what lurks in the shadows, what is in the shadow, and what is in your shadow self, because in some ways the event, quote unquote, is our full integration of our shadow selves into our conscious selves, so that we become a unified whole. And that in itself propels your vibration forward, right? Propels you forward in your timeline. And so that in itself is an event and almost has the same effect as what all the things that are predicted. So I feel like these things are all mirroring each other, because everything in our lives mirrors everything else and mirrors ourselves back to us. Like, we can only experience what we are putting out there. Does that make sense? Like, what we have the capacity to experience is what we are experiencing. And so we need to be aware of that shadow self and how it needs to be integrated in order to balance out, okay? I feel like I've talked in circles this whole time because that's how I've been led. I hope that this makes some sense to you and is helpful, but at the very least, I want you to hold on to the fact that the bottom of the deck here, well, don't hold on to it because attachment is bad, but the Nine of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, and actually under that is the Three of Pentacles. So this is all part of the process of receiving your heart's desire and your spiritual awakening, fulfillment, and teaching or learning. So please just go with the flow and keep your vibration high, and you are going to do great. All right, let me know what you thought of this. If this resonated with you, if I sound like a babbling lunatic, I literally don't mind if you tell me that. I want to know what you think. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.